Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, hey, this will be promoted just like everybody wants it to be. Biden wants a border wall. Yeah, get this, okay? With all the bitching and moaning and complaining from New York and Massachusetts and Los Angeles, Chicago, about, Ron DeSantis or Greg Abbott sending all these migrants to their states, this is Joe's idea. Hey Texas, hey New Mexico, hey Arizona, you better start raising hell fast. That's seriously what he wants to do. The Democrats have now put up a resolution, a bill, to prohibit any illegals from leaving the state in which they illegally entered the country. Because, it will be easier to process them and easier to find them. And if they don't pass their asylum hearing, it will be easier to deport them. Yeah, because Joe's deporting so many of these people, right? Anybody ever driven across Texas? It takes you about 15, 16 hours to go from El Paso to Louisiana. Just saying, I've driven that, okay? Because it'll keep them in a more concentrated area. Right, because Texas is such a tiny state. But this is the deal. All these sanctuary cities, sanctuary states who screamed forever how, we're welcoming to everybody. As soon as they showed up on the doorstep, oh no, we got to get them out. Remember all those people that were sent to Martha's Vineyards? Within 24 hours, they were shipped out and put on an army base somewhere because Obama couldn't possibly have an illegal, camping out on his acreage there in Martha's Vineyard. No, we're special. It rules for thee and not for me. Where we heard that one before. Okay? So this is what their plan is. That if somebody comes across in New Mexico, Arizona, or Texas, they stay there. But what if somebody comes across in California? Because they don't want them in California. Are they going to ship them to Arizona? I don't know. Maybe Karen Bass or Gavin Newsom would like to ship them to Texas because it would be more convenient for them. See, we have this little problem here. Okay? Constitutional rights in the United States apply to everybody, not just citizens, not just green card holders. They apply to everybody that is on U.S. soil. You have constitutional rights. We also have states' rights. Some of our constitutional rights and our states' rights are called reciprocity. You have the freedom to travel within any of the 50 states unless there is some court order specifically prohibiting you from doing so. Okay? This is the deal. If I want to drive right now to Kentucky, no problem. Totally legal, no border crossing. This isn't Eastern Europe. There are no gates. There are no armed guards. There is no Berlin Wall. I can go. But so they're going to tell all these illegals that they can't go where they need to go. Now, here's the problem that it comes to elsewhere. Let's just say some of these illegals have family in New York or Washington or Oklahoma or wherever. And they would get support from that family by going there. A place to live, not on the taxpayer's dime. Maybe that family member owns a business that they could illegally work for, okay, and get off our tax dollar dime. But no, we can't do that. They're stuck staying in Texas or New Mexico or Arizona. Okay. This is the problem. They have constitutional rights to travel freely once they are deemed legally in the United States, unless there is a court order saying they can't. Okay. Joe is not a court. Joe doesn't have the ability to write an executive order saying that they can't go. But so let's take this further. Let's say somehow, some way, Congress does pass a law that says any immigrant, okay, because this would now apply to anybody that's coming in. Let's say somebody comes across the Canadian border to North Dakota, and because there's a lot of that going on too, in case anybody didn't notice, okay, and says, I'm here to claim asylum. As the lie goes, somebody's trying to kill me, okay, and so they come in. Where's that? Is North Dakota, Wisconsin, Minnesota, whatever, are they now required to take them? Let's say somebody comes across on a cruise ship, or who knows, a stowaway, in the landing gear of an airplane, and all of a sudden lands here. Do we have to keep them there? They came to this country illegally until we allowed them in, and then we have granted them some sort of legal status, which now gives them constitutional rights. Okay. Now, I'm not a lawyer, all right? I know some, you can all say, we have Second Amendment right to bear arms, but you can't have a weapon if you don't have if you're not a citizen or a green card or something. I get that. There are other laws on top of it, okay? However, it comes to the point here, what if Congress does pass something like that? Does it have to be a constitutional amendment? I mean, how far do we take this? When does it come to the point where you're not allowed to go to that state? I mean, they are destroying the Constitution one step at a time. This has got to be the most insane idea, and Joe tops himself every freaking week with new stupid ideas. But so now we're going to punish the people of Texas. We're going to punish the people of Arizona. We're going to punish the people of New Mexico and force them to keep all the illegals in their state, even though they don't want them there, even though the federal government has now prohibited them from preventing illegals from coming into their state. I mean, if you didn't notice that floating barrier that Greg Abbott has on the Rio Grande, oh yeah, federal judge just told them they have to take that down. So those in California, Chicago, Minnesota, Washington, D.C., Boston, New York, now they're allowed to dictate how Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico have to run their states? What fucking country do I live in anymore? Pinball out.